right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Intraday, good to see you back. I see you rocking and rolling over there on TikTok. Good stuff. At least I think that's you. It might be you. Maybe not. Shaky, good morning to you, Cayman. Long time no see. All right, let's get this thing going. Let's get it rolling. If I can. There we go. Just a reminder, not a financial advice. This information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only. Without any express and implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Good stuff. All right, we're going to get rid of this. I'm going to pull up a chart. I don't have one open. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Going into the NASDAQ right off the bat, right off the rip, we've got some good-looking charts today. Sometimes I come onto the stream and I say, I just don't see it. I think things don't really look great. And I've got some negative comments to make. However, there are some really good-looking charts, some very good-looking templates that I'm looking forward to trading today. So I think at the very least, it would be good to explain why I feel that way and what signals, what things in hindsight, I'm talking at the end of day yesterday, could I have looked at in order to identify possible opportunities for today. Number one, this is the NASDAQ, and everything that I say on the NASDAQ is going to apply. In fact, I'll even go to US 30 because it's a little bit more clear. Everything that I say on the US 30 is going to apply to every index. That is the NASDAQ, US 30, S&P, the Russell, all the above. All right. They all are looking relatively similar, and they have a relatively similar characteristic condition that we're looking at. Okay. US 30. We've been going down. Market go down. All right. We've been breaking out to the downside outside of previous day's low. Yesterday, we had Monday, really, we put in a low of the week. And then off of that low of the week, we broke to new lows, right? And then yesterday, we broke and made new highs. So we had a first green day, a day that we had multiple large range down close dumping days. We had a day that attempted to go lower. And then we have our breakout. So we have broken out now an opening range breakout of Monday's high. And another really big thing is how this day closed as well. Notice that we closed at the extreme. We closed pretty much very, very strong at the high in combination with this breakout. That's something that's pretty good to see. That's an early indication of follow through for the next day. And then that leads us to the belief that tomorrow I should be looking for maybe Asia to make a higher high or London to make a higher high and pull back either in London or in the gap time leading into New York, and then look for a trend trade opportunity in New York session. We could even have broke out of the previous day's high and pulled back and then gone vertical in the New York session. We could have traded down into the breakout level, started making higher highs and higher lows, and then squeezed back towards the previous day's high and hopefully broken out and gone higher. So all of that being said, those are the things that I could come to a conclusion or build thesis for yesterday before today even began, just off of how yesterday closed and the information that was being shoved into my brain prior to the new day. I was getting excited about that because those are one of my favorite trade setups or my favorite signals, my favorite go-to opportunities. So imagine my displeasure when I came and I saw this huge gap up and they've kind of blown it out and they've already gone and kind of done what it's going to do. Not to say, and I've seen this before, this could just turn into a massive running day. This could be a trend day. Do I necessarily want to go against this? Probably not. All right, there's a very little likelihood that I'll be going against this because, and you've heard me say this before, we're starting or we could possibly be starting a new trend. And whenever that happens, this would be like, if you go read, was it technical analysis books from the 30s. You'll hear of like exhaustion gaps. So we've been going up. We get the bit of a gap down, or a reversal gap, right? It's a reversal gap. Anyways, we got kind of a reversal gap here, and now possibly starting a new trend. So I don't really want to go against that. My level, if I was to do that, would be the high of the day. All right, I want to see how they behave at the high of the day, and then do they break down and start making lower lows and lower highs? If that were to happen, and that is a all caps big if, I would take that as a gap fill sort of trade, or back down to previous day's high. There's our base. We got some space. Maybe we're going to go back down and stop those people out. But those are really, really big ifs. I think there are some better choices. There are some better opportunities that I would be willing to look at. Comments, questions, concerns? Confusion. I don't understand, Cam. It's going up. Why wouldn't you go long? I don't know. I do know. The setup, the template opportunity is from this level. All right. We're not even at the low of the day. We're not at any of my buy low opportunity sort of levels that I would be willing to size into a trade on this instrument. All right. Cool. Let's go to oil. Dang. That is a shame. This was another one. That I was excited for because, let's go back. Now, this was not an opening range breakout yesterday. We'd have a high of current week, or high of previous week, excuse me, back from last week over here. We had a Monday that triggered the previous day's low. We've been going up, market go up. We triggered the previous day's low. Does anybody remember what that could be? What that could indicate? It could indicate a lower low in the market. It could. I'm not saying that it did. I'm not saying remember, I can't see this as of yesterday. I cannot see what has happened today. All I can see is what has happened Monday, Tuesday. Possibly where the pump has began from. Possibly a lower low. And then on Tuesday, we get the return to the high. They made a higher high. Now, it did not close in breakout, but we can project this level across. Nonetheless, once we see the gap up and the breakout back up towards the high today. Okay, now that brings us to today. One of the trading setups that we look for is high of week reversals or midweek reversals. And that setup, the characteristics of that are usually some kind of 3-day opportunity where we make a lower low. We go back to the high of the current week or the high of the previous week or both. And then we start to break back down and make lower lows and lower highs. I had this originally marked off as my low was down here at the low of the day. We now have a low of day breakout. And I was looking to target previous day's low or where that pump began. The part that's very unfortunate about this is it's only 8:30 in the morning. Oil markets are not even open yet. And the whole entire trade has pretty much played out. Am I saying that it can't go all the way back down here today? No. Am I saying that the setup started and began all the way up here? And I saw somebody say it in the comments, maybe the train has left the station. We're chugging and chewing all the way down here. And it just keeps on dragging lower. Maybe low-hanging fruit, yeah. Maybe we break out of the previous day's low and pull back. Maybe we can get something like that. So I'm not going to write it off completely. I'll continue to watch it. But the setup looks, if you want to take a picture of this with the details that I've just listed, lower low, pump begins, trades back into, this is going to show up again and again and again and again. All right, back to the high, previous week's high and also high of current week. And you got a little 3 peaks pattern here too, which is nice to see. And a peak formation high, double top, engulfment. This breakdown back underneath and the continuation, the lower lows and the lower highs, this is where the setup began. Insert this pattern right here at 9:30 and it's perfect. All right, insert that at 9:30 and it's perfect. Good morning, Glitch. Now, like I said, we're going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. You know, maybe this breaks down outside of, maybe we trigger the previous day's low and it pops back up. There should be news on the calendar today for oil as well. We got inventories. We could trigger the low and then we could follow through. We could break out of the low and pull back. Bottom of the box becomes the top of the box. Excuse me. I still have reminiscences of COVID like 3 weeks later, which is crazy. And then we have the continuation pattern down. Those are the scenarios or the situations that I'd be comfortable with. Other than that, I feel like this has already, like I said, chugging and chewing. I don't know what the heck I'm saying even right now, but we already kind of moved quite a bit. Natural gas, I didn't really look at natural gas this morning, so this will be a fresh look from me as well. Okay, Monday was a breakout day. Market has been going down. Tuesday triggered the low, which could just be a lower low. Which it kind of seems like that's exactly what has happened. Oh, man, this is a first green day traps scenario or situation. Yeah, let's pull something up real quick. Where's my playbook? There it is. Basically, a up close candle in a down moving market. Looking at the traps. Where the heck am I? There we go. We've passed it. Heck yeah, there we go. Dang, that looks remarkably similar, must say. Breakout close, Monday. Trigger the low, first green day on a Tuesday. Narrow range day. Trades back up, closing price. You get a squeeze. Breakout close on a Monday. Trigger the low on a Tuesday. Narrow range day, first green day. You get a squeeze coming off the close. Right here. Trade's already started. It's 8:30 in the morning, pretty early. Probably not for me. Dang, that hurts. Look how perfect this was. Making higher highs and higher lows. This is what I'm talking about when I say I like compression. They break through the high of the current day. But in reality, or how would I have looked at this in real time, in live time, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We've got a 2-bar pullback outside of a 1-bar range. We make a lower low. Wrong time of day, but 1, 2, 3 back up and a breakout. And the market goes sideways. Anytime the market breaks down or breaks out, it'll go sideways, putting a sell stop 1 tick below this bar and allowing it to follow through. You're not going to find a more perfect entry criteria, or at least the way that I view my entry criteria. Anyways, let's go on. We'll take a look at gold. Gold kind of hurts my feelings as well. Not that it cares. Not that anybody cares. However, again, like I said, I was watching this last night. I saw this last night. It's been going up for an eternity. I got stopped out on Monday taking an aggressive short. Took a little bit of profits, got stopped out for the rest. So basically break even plus just a little bit. Tried to take a pretty aggressive short over here with the idea that there was 3 sessions of breakout. We did not have a lower low put in place. With this specific setup, I am a little bit more aggressive because a lot of times it'll break through the high of the day and then reverse very strongly. It did not reverse very strongly, and so I kind of took the profits and then got stopped out for the rest, and that's it. However, on the following day, we have the breakout again, an attempt to go higher. We've broken to new highs, and then we have a very strong or weak close back down here. And closing below yesterday's close, also the open for the current day. And the pump has began from all the way down here on Thursday. Easy day. We're going to look for a sell high opportunity tomorrow. In one of three variants, we could see a breakout of previous day's low and a pullback and a continuation. We could pump it back up in three legs, make a lower low, lower high, and go lower. We could pen through the previous day's low and pop back up and then go lower. And those would all be acceptable. So then it gaps down through the previous day's low. Well, what do I do now? Well, one of those is playing out, just it has not played out in my session, which is unfortunate, but it is the case nonetheless. So they have broken down outside of previous day's low and pumped it back up into the bottom of the box, which turns into the top of the box in the Asian session. There's that three peaks pattern. Let me pull something up. Here's the webinar slideshow for all of you that maybe have or haven't seen this. You probably haven't seen this because I've only used this webinar slideshow 2 weeks in a row now. Stair stepping. I need to go down a little bit. There it is. It's one of the most common three push patterns you'll ever see. And it's a sort of a stair step. We got three peaks to the high, and it starts to break down. We've got volume trapped above push 2, really push 1 sometimes. A lot of times. In this pattern, a lot of times the volume is above push 1, but really above push 2. Starts to break down. Very common, very, very common pattern. And when you see it and when it's this perfect, it hurts to see. It's like, I have got to watch this pair. This is the most high probability, one of the most high probability patterns that I've seen. In a lot of cases. Excuse me. I'm here coughing all crazy. All right, so we get the lower low, right? They break out, they pull back, and then there's the little pattern, and three peaks. And the double top high, and it breaks down. Now, I already annotated this because I was looking at it this morning with the webinar group. Above P2, push 2, when it breaks back down, do you notice how they stop letting those people out? They just break down, they go sideways. Kind of like the market giving these people the middle finger. And then it follows through, and they are really trapped now. Anytime the market breaks down or breaks out, it goes sideways. I put a sell stop 1 tick below that bar or go down to a 1 minute chart and allow it to follow through. All right, now that leads us to right now, which the market has been making lower lows and lower highs. We're in breakout to the downside, and we've pumped it back up. And we've gone into consolidation. If I'm going to take this, if I was going to take this, and this is a big if, it would be low-hanging fruit back down to low of day or where the pump began. This was perfect. This was the setup. This is the one. This is the one that I'd be scaling into and allowing it to play out. Now that intraday, that's the webinar slideshow. That's the one that I've been using. It's also on my in the boot camp. All right, so we've pumped it back up. We've gone into consolidation, and I'm looking for the trend trade back down through the low. That's the only trade I would be willing to take because that's the setup. I mean, that's the only playbook opportunity that I would have. However, silver really piqued my interest when I saw it this morning, and now it definitely is piquing my interest even more. All right, a market making higher highs and higher lows. We had a template from yesterday. Monday is the opening range for the week, which can be annotated by 2 fancy dotted lines. We cleared the board. We hit the high. We hit the low. This morning, we triggered the previous day's low, which could be a lower low, and we've traded it back up towards the high. I'm very interested in what is going on right now. All right, that is not really a very great higher high. It would have been nice to see that go up a little bit more to validate this is a lower low. That's unfortunate. I'm still going to watch this. Okay, so the idea being peak, trade back up into the high after making a lower low. Maybe start to break down. Maybe. That's a big maybe. I don't know. I would need to wait for it to confirm. I'd like to see it follow through. If it doesn't follow through, then I know that I'm completely wrong. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, anything you all would like to see? Joseph, I don't know if I said hello, but hello to you as well, if you're still in here. TR, where are you seeing first green day? Hey, which pair were you referencing, Dax? Could it continuation long as well? Yes. Yeah. That lower low is not looking too great. It was. I felt a lot better about it if it had made a higher high and then that lower low and now it's consolidating at the high of the day. After seeing that lower low gap down at the beginning of the day, that would make me feel really good. Good morning, Paulie. Gold 17th. This is German 40. Let's see. Wednesday. Wait, what? Man, this is all screwed up. Oh, it's because of the holiday. That's why. No, I know, Joseph. I'm trying to get a grasp. It's freaking me out because there was a holiday, a European. Well, it's not just a European holiday; it's everybody's holiday. But I think the banks were closed on Monday, right, for you all. And I think that has caused this to be a little wacky. Yeah. All right, this is very similar though. Regardless, Joseph, we had the lower low down here, a low in general. We just hit the previous day's low. Peak formation high on Friday, so a higher high and then a bit of a higher low. I wouldn't even worry too much about that. I would just worry about the fact that we broke out to the upside and closed, project that level across. I would have been looking for the exact same thing as the indexes from today. Trend trade, right? I would be looking for breakout, pullback. Asia makes a higher high. London pulls back. New York is the vertical move. But again, the gap up kind of screwed everything up as far as what I'm looking for. Do I think it can't go up further today? It could. Do I think that it could come down and fill the gap? It could. Am I really willing to take either of those? I don't really know. I'd have to see presentation and how it looks at 9:30. Like, for example, this just keeps pulling higher and higher, and that's fantastic. So I don't really think that I'm really willing to do anything on this. I'm a lot more interested in the ones that are set up a little bit better. I think oil has potential. All right, we've triggered previous day's low. We're pumping it back up. This has potential. I think silver is probably my better of the two between gold and silver. What's copper doing? How's copper doing? Ooh, I see. Three days of breakouts. Monday, Tuesday, today, Wednesday. That is an interesting pattern. A little bit of platinum. Platinum is on a tear. Okay. This one did not consolidate quite as much. This one was an opening range breakout on a Tuesday. Looking for Asia or London to make a lower low. We get the lower low. 3 legs to the high. Does not follow through. Continues to make higher highs and higher lows, and we're still making higher highs and higher lows. So no short setup. Yeah, that gap really did. I was excited last night when I made the slideshow, or not the slideshow, the thumbnail for this video. When I did my analysis last night, I was like, good stuff. Tomorrow's going to be a great trading day. The timing of the markets has been a little off with all this late afternoon news and blah, 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 blah. Guys coming on and saying this and that, and it's moving the market at weird times of day. Things are moving at different times. The setups are not showing up as much right at 9:30. They do, but sometimes, or a lot of times, as of late, the market's been moving at different times. This is kind of just another example of that. We've got this crazy gap up, which kind of ruins my thesis from earlier. Thanks for saying that. What do you mean, Paulie? Messed up on ES? Yeah, and I'm not saying that to make excuses. I'm not saying that to be like, oh well, I didn't take a trade today, and it's because the market is against me or whatever. The market's always against you. It's with all the news and stuff. Remember, a huge part. Oh, I got you. Yeah, a huge part of understanding just how the market moves in general and things like that, it is highly revolved around the news schedule. So if there are news events that keep on happening at the end of a day, the president saying words into a mic, and saying things about the economy, and it's going to start moving things at weird times. And it just is what it is. You just have to be really, really confident in what you're looking for and what your setup is. Because if it's not there, and then it moves your direction anyways, who cares? It wasn't there. It wasn't there. You didn't enter. Who cares? If it is there, I'm going to do my best to get in and execute the same way as I always would. But if it's not, and it's doing weird things, this isn't even necessarily weird. Okay, this is possibly, I can go get the book, and I might even be able to pull it out. And let's see, can I see it right now? Let's see if I've got it listed in here. I should have had it maybe marked off. I know this is crazy, going and referencing a book in the middle of a live stream, but it could be interesting. This is Technical Analysis and Stock Market Profits, Richard Schabacker. If I could find the glossary, that would be great. Just not to prove a point, but more of just a, this stuff has been around for an eternity. It's never going to stop. It's never going to end. It's not going to just stop doing market-like things because of this and that. Bear with me. I'm going to find it. And if I don't, you all can just yell at me. Here we go. Minor reversal formations. Major Boy, they could not have done a weirder job with this table of contents. I also feel like this is not the right book. The One-Day Reversal. I highly recommend, by the way, if you have not read these books, just for, it might not even make you necessarily a better trader, but this is like the, you know, if we had a textbook, if you will, of trades or of how the market moves, this is definitely it. There we go. Exhaustion gaps, 219. Hopefully I don't get flagged on YouTube for pulling out a book. They're going to hit me with like, what do you call it? The copyright infringement or whatever. So I guess I won't throw it up here. There's no way. Oh, 219, that's why. Yeah, this is a highly recommended book though. I would read this one again and again. I've already read it twice. Technical Analysis and Stock Market Profits. Richard Schabacker. This is what it looks like. Oh, my screen's lagging behind. There it is. Here we go. Page 245. Gaps and thin markets. Common gap, breakaway gap. There we go. So this is actually called a breakaway gap. Holy cow, I'm sorry this took me so long. If I learned how to read a table of contents and find things more quickly, I suppose that would have helped, right? That's all a joke, of course. All right, there you go. Breakaway gap. I'm going to sit here and read to you all like a kindergarten teacher. Breakaway gap is, in most respects, just about the opposite of the common gap. It appears at the beginning of a movement and generally comes at the completion of some definite area formation. It is seldom covered for some time in the future, and when it proceeds from a strong major bottom formation, it may never be covered. So what it's saying here is we've been going down, all right? Market go down. And then a lot of people will trade the gap fill, right? They'll trade the fade back into the gap. But in a breakaway gap, at the beginning of a move where we're going higher, we've been going down, we have a gap up, they may not fill this gap. This may just be a very strong move to the upside. Gap and go, whatever you want to call it. But this is it right there. And this is the classification of that. A gap at the fresh of a move, right at the beginning, they might not be coming back. Okay. Kind of a weird way to end this live stream, but I think it was pretty beneficial nonetheless. And if you all are interested in other books, by the way, the description of every one of my videos has a list of books and references. Just go down in the description of my book, or my description of my videos, and you'll find a whole bunch of books that I would recommend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have found this stream beneficial. If you have, let me know in the comments when the video ends. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. I'll see you all in the next one. I do these streams every Wednesday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I will not be doing one this week because I am the best man in someone's wedding. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.